What's the number one thing that people that I coach miss when they're on the ketogenic diet? Well, besides chocolate and desserts, which we have plenty of recipes for, they also miss their comfort food. In this video, I'm going to give you some of my favorite slow cooker recipes that will make you completely forget they're ever keto. Now, all of the recipes I mentioned you will find linked down in the description below so that you can access and make them for yourself. When I first started on the ketogenic diet, I kept things simple. Protein, salads, more salads, and guess what? A lot of heavy cream and butter. But soon after that, I started missing some home-cooked meals, which always included beans or rice or potatoes or some sort of starch. And I had no idea how to make them without. This is when I started to discover my favorite slow cooker recipes. But who am I anyway? Well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Carlita from Shrinking with Keto. And throughout my ketogenic journey, I have now lost over 200 pounds and reversed my type 2 diabetes. Now, throughout this journey, I have helped and coached plenty of people reach their goal. And I hope to do the same for you. The first thing I missed right after my Coca-Cola and chocolate was chili. Now, chili obviously has beans, and one of the best recipes that I found that actually made you forget it didn't have any beans is this slow cooker keto chili recipe. The secret in making this perfect keto chili recipe is to be very generous with the spices. It only takes 15 minutes to prepare and cooks in just a few hours. And if you want to make it even more delicious, use kettle and fire chicken broth in this recipe. Again, I'll leave the link below. My next favorite recipe is keto parmesan meatballs. These meatballs are amazing to be eaten just by themselves, or you can serve them with a salad, or even better, some cauliflower rice. My tip for this recipe is to use a combination of both ground beef and ground pork to get a fattier and fuller flavor. You can also use ground turkey or ground chicken for this recipe, but it's gonna come out just a tad bit drier. And as a lover of peppers and sausage, the combination of the slow cooker sausage and peppers recipe is just divine, and it's definitely under the category of comfort food. Not because I'm Italian, but we do have a really good selection of Italian sausages. So for this recipe, prefer to go with an Italian sausage and top the whole thing off with some shredded mozzarella. If you've been doing keto, one of the things you definitely miss is the potato. So this recipe is going to be a really good substitute for those flavors. It's none other than a cauliflower chowder. As the author of the recipe says, this cauliflower soup is a reminiscence of the big old bowl of baked potato soup. This soup comes complete with all of the fixings you would put on top of a bowl of potato soup, including bacon, green onions, and shredded cheddar cheese. Come on, let's say it all together. How much do we miss buffalo chicken wings on keto? Well, with this recipe, the meat on this wings comes off beautifully tender and absolutely loaded with flavor. And while we're on the whole chicken conversation, you should try the recipe of chicken cacciatore. In the slow cooker, you're going to get a combination of juicy chicken thighs and rich tomato sauce just to make that perfect chicken cacciatore with a very, very low carb count. And if you miss mashed potatoes or any potatoes, you definitely need to try the loaded cauliflower slow cooker recipe. But by far, one of my favorite slow cooker recipes is the pot roast. The humble pot roast that can taste so gooey and delicious that you can keep eating it, well, almost as a carnivore. This dish is perfectly served with a mash of cauliflower, or you can even use the previous cauliflower recipe and make some gravy, and there's plenty of recipes for that too. For seasoning, just go with parsley, garlic, onion, and pepper, and you are not going to miss anything from the pot roast you make with the rooted veggies. But would somebody rather have a keto queso dip? This queso dip with 3 types of cheeses comes out creamy and amazing. And you're actually going to wonder, how can this deliciousness even be keto? And a tip here is if you add some heavy cream to this recipe, it's just going to become even creamier than before. Before we move on to my next keto slow cooker recipe, let me interrupt you for a second. If this is the first time you're seeing this pretty face, come on. Let's make sure it's not the last. So please go ahead and subscribe to this channel and ring my bell icon so that YouTube can let you know every single time I make a new video for you. And please feel free to ask me anything you want down in the comment section below, and I will try my best to answer every single one of your questions. Now let's move on to my next favorite recipe. Keto slow cooker pork loin. For this recipe, the secret's in the sauce that you actually make after you finish cooking the pork. You make the perfect garlic herb sauce that is perfect for topping not only your meat, but also, guess what? Your mashed potatoes. Oh wait, you're not having potatoes, but you do have a cauliflower recipe to substitute it with. Which takes me to our next recipe, crock pot chicken fajitas. And yes, they're absolutely keto friendly. But would you like to make a dip instead? Because I mean, we have our meat, we have our cauliflower mash, we have all these things, but how about a keto spinach artichoke dip? Look, it's much creamier and much more delicious than it actually sounds. Just go ahead and try it. My tip here is that when you use the shredded Parmesan cheese, try to get the fresh piece of cheese and not the one that's outside of the refrigerator because it adds so much flavor to this dip. And one of the staples in keto, well, it's a staple by now because so many people have made it, is the keto taco casserole. Guys, this is delicious. You should make it and try it, and you're gonna see that you're gonna love it, absolutely love it. Now, this recipe uses ground beef, but you can technically use any ground meat you want. And you can actually try it, and should, with a combination of ground beef and ground pork. Again, I would avoid ground turkey or chicken because it comes out a little bit drier. Now, we all established that we love buffalo chicken wings, but what about a crock pot buffalo chicken dip? Now, this chicken recipe calls for a very specific spice mix, but there is no limits to the spices you can use, and you can actually make your own spice mix with the spices you have at home. And of course, I promised the mashed cauliflower recipe, so I've also included a slow cooker mashed cauliflower recipe that is absolutely yummy. And you know what I do? I also make some bacon and add that inside too. But enough with the chicken and the pork and the beef. What if you want some fish? Well, I have also included one of my favorite slow cooker salmon recipes. All you need to season this yummy recipe is some lemon slices, some garlic, some dill, salt, and pepper. Enough already, I'm stuffed. How about some keto dessert? But wait a minute, slow cooker crock pot keto dessert? Absolutely. I have included one of the yummiest keto lemon cake recipes right in the description below. And all you need to do after you make it is add a couple of sliced strawberries, and you are never going to forget what you had. Now, if you have gotten any value out of this video, I will kindly ask you to press the thumbs up button, as this helps YouTube take this content and push it out to more people that need it, just like you. So there you have it, my favorite keto slow cooker recipes, including a dessert. And as always, chin up, or you know by now, the crown slips.